Hi guys, welcome to another answers video. This time I have a major announcement. So basically I think that this is going to be the last video that I'm making of this kind. Even though I have tried to, take out a lot of time in the last 14 months to create these videos, I know I have not been consistent, and it is just because there are so many things going around in my life, in college life or otherwise as well. So I think that going forward, things are going to become even more difficult, and I'm going to find less and less time. So it won't be possible for me to make this video because approximately it takes me at least 4 to 5 hours to create this. So what I am going to do from now on is maybe have bi-weekly live sessions, so you can keep on sending me your questions, etc., like this way only, and I will just answer them on a live session. So I don't have to really create a video, and I can just have bi-weekly around 1 hour or 1.5 hour of the session. So the exact time, I would like to have it on weekend. So every first and third weekend of every month. That is my target. And I mean, the exact time I would let you know on Instagram or by a YouTube post. So follow me on either so that you can get to know my upcoming live video. And also, when you're asking questions, you can put in your email ID. So whenever I'm having the next video, I will send you an email so that you can come online and ask your question or listen to your answer over there. So I think this is a change that is going to happen, and this is going to be the last video. So let's just get into answers for this video.
See, you are right that the career is very different for all the different streams in MBA. So, for example, for consulting, you can maybe ask me a question regarding how it is. There are financial rules in which there is investment banking, markets, uh, PEVC. There are marketing rules. There are general management rules, also operations rules, etc. The best thing to do would be obviously to speak to people in these careers, but also know that while you are doing your stream, you might actually like it, even if you do not attach so much or relate so much with the job profiles or the kind of work that people tell they are doing. So best thing would be to ask a bit around, but I think doing an MBA in itself would get some kind of attachment to the stream. Obviously, I cannot tell you which IIMs will give you a call, but yes, if all you did was just give a couple of mocks, you can obviously give CAT next year, and your percentile should improve. I don't know if you mean the cognitive aptitude test or if you are actually asking for CAT. Maybe be a bit more clear. And as per the right material, I think you can go to coaching centers which are available for every test right now. I think that is the kind of attitude that you have. Then maybe you obviously are not considering your parents as well. It is not that obviously I was their responsibility till 18, so they have to take care, and after 18 I'm on my own, and now I don't have any responsibility towards them. That is not the attitude that you should have. You should actually see how parents in foreign countries, at least US, ask their kids to leave when they are 18 years old. Just imagine if that was something that happened with you. So just respect them for what they are and try to understand where their insecurities are coming from. And you they cannot give you freedom just all of a sudden. It can happen gradually. And maybe now that you're 26, just show some financial independence and a lot of independence, and maybe they will stop interfering in your life. See, so one of the methods to try speaking is just stand in front of a mirror and just try to speak for say 2 or 3 minutes, whatever you want to speak on. This helps a lot because this gives you a feeling that someone is watching you, and still you are facing the kind of pressure that someone is watching and still being able to speak. Another thing you can do is whoever you are comfortable with, family or friends, you can just make them sit and say, I want to just speak for 4 or 5 minutes and just want to practice, and they can help you do that. If you are good in English overall, you will gain some confidence after this. Otherwise, if your English is lacking, you will also realize that where you are going wrong. course, this will a bit impact your profile because people who will be coming from different companies might have an edge towards you. So, if possible, if you think that you can switch into something better, that is your choice. You can maybe do that, but ensure that this does not affect your CAT preparations. That said, taking stream is your choice, which field you should choose. If you feel that operations is something that you would like to do, just analyze and understand a few people who have been in this field and see if this is something that you want to do. Operations is essentially managing the entire supply chain or managing a factory, so things like that, then it is fine. This is something you should take. I cannot estimate whether you will get calls or not. All you can do to improve your profile is get some work experience which you think is relevant. If the company is not right now, maybe see that if you can switch, or if you do not have extra currics, you can get into some NGO, do some work with them, or just get into the I don't know, the extracurricular part of your company itself, have some competitions, etc. over there. I am going to start working with Boston Consulting Group in summer this year. And I mean, I think that I'll be working there for quite a few years. And then let's see, if I get some new idea, I might want to start something on my own. See, if you have got 85 percentile and you feel that you cannot improve later on, then maybe you should take up these colleges and try to excel in them. So even if you go to like second tier or some small colleges which are not really popular, if you go and excel over there, the best company that will come and take you. So that is something you can aim for, or otherwise you can give different tests. There's a college Micah in Ahmedabad which is also very nice. Just give all the tests that are there to give in different MBA colleges, and then you can maybe make a final decision. I was working with Opera Solutions, which was based in US. Now the company has been taken over and the name and all etc has changed. And well, working there was good for me because the peer group that I had was also from IITs and IIMs, and I actually learned a lot and enjoyed a lot during my job. Another thing is, of course, I mean, in India, particularly, at least in IIMs, because the culture has been that people directly went from their undergrad college to do their MBAs. That is why the kind of jobs that come generally in finals and in summer give the same kind of roles and packages to people who have work experience or not. So that is why, obviously, in terms of years, it is better if you come directly, but obviously you will have more perspective and more understanding of things once you have had a job and worked on it. Another thing is that maybe in ISB there's an advantage on people who have some work experience. Also during laterals in IIMs also, there's some advantage for people who have work experience. So it is completely fine for someone who's 22 or 25 to come and start an MBA. I'm just letting you know what are the different options. See, you can either go through the route which many people take, they give CFA, then you can start working in some small financial firm, which will get you some work experience and then slowly take up the ladder. Or the other thing is obviously to do MBA, wherein they prefer people who have some strong technical background, and a lot of engineers are being hired, at least from my college nowadays, for finance. So these are the two routes that you can take. Obviously it won't be easy, but you need to have some kind of work experience to get into a good company of finance. I think that it is kind of similar, only it is like a long distance relationship that I had earlier also. So for me, not a lot of things have changed. I've just found some more people who are taking care of me now. Um, for me, it was mostly because that time Shashank had completed his studies, and I was also kind of free because I had given my notice period in my firm. So the idea was that when both of us had a lot of time, we wanted to spend it with each other, and we thought that let's get married and spend a lot of time, know each other and each other's family as well. So that is what we did, and yeah. You can, say that this is your hobby, but it would be good that, you follow some, at least one thing with some passion. If you are a good, if you are, you like reading more, then maybe spend a lot of time in reading. If you like to play sports, then play sports and also follow them on TV, etc. So these are the kind of things which will show that when you have passion or when you are interested in something, you devote time and spend time and learn more about it. So that is one thing that you can do. The list of countries you can actually find on my Instagram only. And it's not about salary. I think there were a few factors. One, we were traveling on student budget. Anyway, I have taken loan from SBI, so we just increased the loan a bit. And I got a scholarship over there in Germany. So, taking that and a few extra financial resources, I was able to travel. And it was not just me, quite a few people traveled from different colleges in Europe this year. My Instagram channel is Chhavi here. So, okay. One can definitely succeed. All MBA provides you is a platform of opportunities. So, if you want to switch from one field to another, say you are working in a technical field and you want to go to finance, what you have to do is you need to get some kind of certification, then you need to start with a small firm at an entry level role, then you can go up in that firm or switch to another firm. So the entire journey of learning which can be done through switching jobs, etc., is kind of summarized in 2 years of MBA, and this provides you with a platform to go into any kind of sector that you want. Thanks a lot. That's a very nice compliment. You should always give mock from starting, because giving mock tests helps you realize where all you are really, facing some kind of problem and where you are strong. So, otherwise, if you're not giving mocks, you will give kind of equal time to everything. But if you are giving mocks, then you will realize where you need to put your efforts. While it is obviously a plus factor, it is not that people who are not from reputed firms do not get in here. So do not let it, just take too much time in your mind. Just prepare on your preparation. Just prepare on your interviews, etc. For CAT preparation, essentially, you should be spending around 4 hours every day. And yeah, that is kind of it. It depends on what kind of schedule you have in your college. So, based on that, you can take some time out, give one mock test every weekend, and yes, good luck for your preparation. You can take part in extracurriculars, you can hold some positions of responsibilities in your student council, etc. You can work in some NGOs, you can get some extra internships. So there are many ways to do it. Just spend your time, do not while away your time, spend your time in something productive. I have a video on how to improve your English language. You can go through that. This exam was mostly mathematics from what I remember, and it was not that difficult. I think I did almost all the questions. I just had one or two questions wrong. So it is not that tough. It is just simple maths. There's not calculus, etc. also. So just ensure that you are doing it in time, because time might be less, and ensure that you're not doing any silly mistakes. I took a classroom coaching from Time Center. I was in the elite batch in Chandewala Center. I did not really go through the coaching material. I just went through the classroom notes and all. And yeah, any books that are specific, I think that you should just have a preliminary cover of the syllabus that is there, that you can do from any kind of coaching's material. It can be last year's also if you want to just borrow it from someone. And yeah, just given a lot of mock tests. You can go through NCRTs from class 6 to 10. Once you do that, you will have at least some kind of basic, background on what the cone questions will come on. Later on, start giving some kind of sectionals and do difficult questions which might come in the exam. See, you might get into the second tier of IIMs or B schools, which are, a lot of schools are there, and with around, I think you would need at least a good percentile, but those schools you might get into. I think that AIMCAT is really good of time, because a lot of people give that and you get an idea of where you are standing. And how to get a mock test, I think you have to buy it from the website. how to give a mock test, I think I have a webinar. You can look at that. CAT 2022 is quite far away, and obviously if you don't have maths you are a bit scared of it, but I think it should be fine. You can look at any of my webinars for preparation of CAT, overall strategy. You can give your CAT exam once your graduation is done, but I think before doing that you should focus on your graduation as well and in your class 12, because all these scores will remain with you for a lifetime, and these will be quoted whenever you want to switch your job, apply to any college. So focus on them first. I think that you should try and approach some seniors that you have or some connections that you have in different companies, or just take up a job wherever you get one and ensure that the hours are a bit less. Uh, the point is, I think that you should have anyway sat in the campus placements, and this is not right. But still, now that you have not done it, just get in touch with the placecom and see that if any company requires any more candidates. I think the walk-in interview thing, you are talking about jobs only. So I guess mostly it is, yes, sometimes it also works on referral, but still there are interviews. So what kind of job really depends on what kind of job you get and what kind of graduation you have done. I think it means for a particular section, because overall was anyway 80 percentile, but the cutoff doesn't really matter because only the top students will be taken in. So the cutoff is kind of that these students who are below this percentile will not even be considered. So yeah. So earlier the overall stock used to be very less. But now that the CAT examination of previous year, the question paper, etc., has come out, you can use both the sets, questions of both the different slots for practicing. Otherwise, what I found was out of my 25 aim cats, around 2 or 3 were around where I could use it really for equating it to the LRDI of CAT exam. While quant, I think almost all the aim cats and also the IMS questions were at par. I think I did 29, 23, and 32 in the different sections. I did not appear in any other exam. And best books or mocks for GK also I'm unaware. But you can, just see if it is regarding current affairs or if it is regarding the general GK. So that way you will find enough mocks, etc. for them. If it is regarding current affairs, obviously go through all the newspapers and articles. You can do both. Continue with your current job. Maybe there are a few things that you will really learn in this job, and also give the examination this year again. It's okay. I mean, I've seen people who just clear the examination and get into B schools in 3 or 4 attempts. And meanwhile, if you are building yourself or if you are developing yourself and learning new things, then it is completely okay. See, what I feel is that we are currently in a time where there are so many jobs in so many different industries, as in there are not just a few industries where you can identify and find a job. So if you really want to do this, I think it's completely fine to do that. But in case you want to just maybe get an experience of the BTech, of the engineering degree that you have done, just join the firm, do it for a year, and still if you want to pursue economics, you can go ahead and do that. See, what I think is that it depends on what kind of preparation you did while you scored this percentile. So, because you left your job in September, I think that you would have done at least 2 or 3 months of proper preparation. In this case, if you feel that you can maybe make a significant difference after sitting in job and preparing on your own, then only I would advise you to sit at home and reattempt CAT. Otherwise, I do not advise anyone to do that, because in general you should continue your job or your studies or something along with CAT, because CAT is just an aptitude examination, and you should be able to do it along with mainstreaming doing something else. So, if this is the case, and if you really want to pursue MBA, I think that you can try for a reattempt, but otherwise, I would advise you to instead just join somewhere, just work somewhere. Well, it is certainly not easy to do all of this. Definitely, the curriculum is too much. There are a lot of projects, assignments. There are even more things to the college itself in terms of sports, etc., etc. And it's just that I identify my priorities. If I want or if I like to do this, then this is something that I do. I take time, to go on Quora, to write on Quora, to make these videos, etc. But yes, it definitely is kind of taxing because I travel a lot as well. So uh, basically, for time management, I would advise one very major, suggestion, that whenever you are doing something, I would advise you to just focus on that. It seems like a very, very simple statement. But the point is that when people, they are, say, studying, but they have their mobile phone with them. So they will remember something, then they will text someone else. They will remember an assignment of some other subject, and they will start talking on group about that. So the problem with us is that because we have so many resources, what we try to do is that while we are doing something, we are not really focused on it. We are doing 10 other things along with it, at least in our mind. And I think that kind of, bogs down your overall efficiency. And also you feel like, you have been studying for 2 to 3 hours and you have not really accomplished anything. So, to get out of this, what I advise everyone, even my siblings and all, is that when you are doing something, just put your mind into that. It's not easy given that we have our laptops, mobile phones, internet 24/7. But if you do that, then you will be able to, get more out of your time. And another thing is definitely prioritize. So, what the things that you feel are urgent at the moment, just prioritize and get done with them, get done with those very quickly. Then only you can manage so many things at one time. Never should you wait to complete your syllabus in something like CAT. It is an aptitude exam. It's very, very basic. If you see all the three sections, the basic necessities is just your aptitude. So do not wait to finish your exam, finish your syllabus. Start your mocks from right now. It doesn't matter. Why do you want to wait anyway? So you should just start your mocks right now, and maybe during your preparation, during completion of your syllabus, you will understand how you have improved. According to IMA, folks, seriously, there are very few colleges which kind of, are at par, and which is very fair as well. So I do not think that we really, think of all the colleges and consider them as tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It's just that we just think of colleges which we think that, have peers similar to the students who are studying here. Yes, I think it is advisable to prepare, during your final year of graduation. Many people give that, many people just join directly from, these colleges. And it should be fine. I mean, if you do not really like coding at all and you do not want to go in there, and taking in consideration, of course, your measurement of the seniors' placements, do not think that you won't get into placements at all. Just sit for placements. Maybe you will, like a company and it will give you an offer. But otherwise, you can obviously continue to prepare for the exam and give the exam in your final year. Very personal question, but it is somewhere in the range of 25 to 30. Yes, you should make your calculations a bit faster for, the quick calculation. But there's also another thing, and that is you do not really need to do all the calculations. So suppose that there are numbers in crores, and you have to, I don't know, compare them by multiplying them with a percentage. You do not need to get the exact figure and to say that which one is maximum. You can just take the first few digits of each number, multiply with the percentage, and get an approximate maxima. Maybe if you have a confusion in any two options, then you can further, compare them by doing those calculations accurately. So you have to do smart calculations along with quick calculations. That's it. 50 minutes set is not at all acceptable. And I think what you need to do is take simpler sets, try to solve them in 10 to 12 minutes, and just improve your speed first, and then maybe go to more difficult sets. I think it's an excellent idea that you have identified this yourself. You should definitely do this class NCRT books. Class 6 to 10 is approximately that is required. 11, 12 is not required, and it depends on how basic problems or mistakes you are making, whether you need to solve each and every problem of every chapter, or you can just start with chapters related to cat, and if you feel that your basics are not really up to the mark, then you can solve the other chapters as well. You can, based on where you are right now or your approximate aptitude level right now, you can take either between those two. Because for maybe someone like a few people I know or myself, I don't think I would require a correspondence material. But that said, if you do not have any idea of what the syllabus is, or if you're facing problems in solving any questions, etc., then you should take that material. So for that, I would ask you to give one mock test, take it from a friend, or just give a free mock test from any website, and just see where you are. If you require an entire syllabus rereading, then you can take the correspondence material. Otherwise, a mock test would be fine. No, definitely not. I think it is done to ensure that there's enough diversity in every section. And also, I mean, it is mostly done on basis of that. I don't think it's based on any score or category. You should definitely take up a job if you can, or take up an internship or work with an NGO or something. Just do not sit at home and prepare for CAT, because that one can be very boring and monotonous, and which results in lowering your efficiency of studies overall. And secondly, it will not show up good in your profile. It depends on how well they have ranked their profile, but also on how well you prepare for your interview and give it. So you know that you do not have anything very significant apart from your percentile, etc. So I think you should get really prepared with the current affairs, with your entire profile, with why you have not taken part in these different things, what is your one passion, hobby, and things like that. So be very, very prepared for your interview, and all the best. See, it depends on what you need to do in your life. So if you think that you want to, start a business or be in a managerial position somewhere, be it in hospitality industry or some other industry, then yes, of course, MBA is a very good idea in general. And I don't know what you are, asking in regards to the difficulty or challenges, because I do not know what challenges or difficulty people face, and I do not know where you are talking about, where in life are they facing these difficulties or challenges. So be more clear. See, there are two things you need to do. One, you need to either get over this relationship or get a closure. So now that she has said that you don't really, she doesn't really want to see you, etc., I think that you should take it as a hint and do not continue pursuing someone who doesn't want to see you or doesn't respect you or the time that you have invested in the relationship. Secondly, you need to get back on your feet, get enough confidence so that you can go out there and still feel confident and get over this relationship. So these two things you need to do for yourself, and I wish you all the luck for that. It can be a bit of a disadvantage, of course, but now that you have realized this, and I think that you have some work experience right now, so these things can be generally talked about in the interview, that I was just going through a phase with my family, and I was just handling a bit of family work, or I was thinking about the different career choices that I had, etc., etc. It would be disadvantageous, but just try to link it with your family or a bit of personal connection, and I think it should be okay. I prepared for CAT from Time Chandewala Center. And given that, you feel a little scared about it, I would say that, just go through NCRTs of class 6 to 10. Do not do all the exercises of all the chapters, but just pick up some random chapters and some random questions. And therein, you will realize that, it is not that difficult and you do not really need to be afraid about it. And while preparing and while going to the coaching, it will only become better and better. What will happen is that even while you get a call, you will not get selected. I mean, I do not know what you really want to ask over here. Obviously, in your PI, if you do not give answers to the questions that are asked, then you will not get selected. So, if you score this percentile and if you get calls, then you better prepare on your UG topics. See, one thing you could do is, in general, pick up some LRDI sets and try to solve them. For someone whose aptitude is weak, the most difficult point is LRDI. While English you can handle and maths also you can handle with some practice, LRDI could be very difficult because that is where your aptitude is really tested. So I think that you can start with that for at least 1 or 2 years. And once you have some confidence in your thinking ability, in your logical ability, you can start with a full-fledged preparation for CAT. Okay, so a very honest answer about it. While there are a lot of people who I generally feel that could do with a little bit more of aptitude, but the point is that I have felt in a lot of people that maybe they are a lot smarter than what I am. And this is something that can come, by experiences, by learning, by reading, and a lot of different things. And it is very much possible for many people to score 99 above. You do not need to be extraordinary. The point is that because you have already given the examination twice, you know what the syllabus is, you know what the pattern is, etc. So this time, I hope that now that you will be giving your mocks, you will be scoring even better than your last time. What I would advise you is that take basically 2 or 3 mock test series. Just solve and give mocks every 2 or 3 days if you have time. Analyze those mocks properly. Note down any recurring mistakes that you are making. Ensure that you know how to solve them. And I think that should be enough. You do not need to do your syllabus again. You just need to give mocks and analyze them very properly. I have a few videos about analyzing mocks, so you can just go through them. See, Aditya Agarwal is a person who is very meticulous, who's very dedicated. And when he does something, he gives all of his mind space and bandwidth to that thing. And I think that is extremely important for anyone who wants to be successful in any specific field. So when you are studying, first you plan your entire day. You devote specific time for different subjects. Because you have been doing this, because you are meticulous, you know how much time you require for completing a particular assignment or a particular topic. And hence that planning becomes better and better every time. And when you are studying, you are completely focused on the study, just totally dedicated, and that is how you score well. So he used to spend enough time preparing before class for the cases, so that he used to be as involved as possible in the class, and also after class, wherein in the sense of revising the concepts, etc. I think that is something that is extremely important. And in Aditya's case, he was also the IR2 in IIT Delhi as well, which says the same thing about him, that he has been consistent. You do not need to prepare for GDPI right from February for CAT 2020, because that is not required. For LRDI, if you are preparing for 2020, I would advise you to stick to mock tests. I think the question that they will ask you is, what you want to get out of the MBA, because they know that you have gotten most of the knowledge regarding it. You can maybe center it around the network that you want to build, or a change in stream that you want to build, or something specific that you want to learn because you did HR. So maybe learning other aspects of finance, marketing, etc. That is something that you could do. While I do not know someone who has done this, but I think that it is not that bad an idea. You need to analyze your mocks a bit deeper than just identifying the overall percentile. So you need to see which section is it varying too much. Is it due to the external environment that it is happening? If it's a particular section, is it that in some topic, because more questions are there from that particular topic, you are getting those incorrect? So this kind of further analysis would be helpful. Your daily routine for CAT, you can, and even for GDPI, you can look at my different videos and webinars. Should not start it in your first year, maybe in your pre-final year. And over at that time, you can just look at some of my overall CAT preparation videos. I can say that, there is no specific negative marking for gap, but it can come up in an interview. So depending on what job, how much work experience you have, you will get marks for that. But it might, come up in the interview that why did you do this, etc., etc. But if you have a decent enough justification, then that should be okay. It's very tough for someone who has scored less than 70 percentage in class 10th or 12th to come to IIM ABC, but you can definitely hold a chance to get into other IIMs. So just prepare and get a really good percentile in CAT. So the idea is that you get an invitation letter from the president house, and you also get to get one guest or two guests based on how many invitations you are requesting them. And over there are a lot of different people who have achieved things in different streams, etc. There are IS toppers, IFS, NEET, etc. A lot of different toppers, and you can interact with them, and you will be there in the hall, and then the president, prime minister vice president will come and greet everyone. They will meet with everyone. After that, it's kind of an open session. You can have some snacks, dinner, etc. And then you can go ahead and meet different ministers, have a conversation with them, and a lot of things. So it's a very nice experience being there at the Rashtrapati Bhavan and then interacting with these great personalities. See, while you might be able to get into these, I think that you should definitely sit for CS final exam, because either or not, I mean, you started pursuing this with some thought. So I would say that give it a completion, because you have not been able to complete CA. At least give this one thing a completion. And I think that while you can get into this, you should definitely focus on either one of them at one time. So prepare for CAT very well, and then once you are done, maybe give the CS final exam also, if that is possible. And I think it should be okay. You should be able to get through. There are a lot of people who have just done BCom and are in different IIMs. Chances of getting in colleges depends on your profile, but one college which I think stands out in terms of fee structure is FMS, because the fee is extremely low. And even though it is not kind of a campus life like IIMs, but I think it gives equal opportunities. And considering that it is in Delhi, the exposure is also really good. I'm sorry, I have no idea about this examination. And maybe instead of searching for cutoffs, etc., just prepare for the exam and give it. And once you have the final result, you will yourself understand what is the cutoff, etc. I think given that the overall program duration is same, you can do you can take up the second option and maybe do your MBA from IM A, B, or C. So that could be one thing. But still give the IPMAT, and you can just see, just give the examination for just appearing it in for that sake. Yes, many people do get admitted without experience. Around 20 to 30% of a batch strength are people who are just freshers, so it is possible. I was basically on an exchange term to Europe, wherein we do 3 months of our MBA program in a university in Europe, and I just traveled around that time. My experience in IIT was essentially that I had worked in a lot of clubs and all. And while working in those, I just felt that, I would be better, a lot better, in a management kind of a job, or somewhere where I could directly understand and solve a problem for, say, a client or for different industries at a point. So that made me understand that I would maybe prefer going to consulting. And for that, to get even further knowledge about the field, I had to do and shift to MBA.
So, guys, these were all the questions for this week's video. And as I have said in the starting, that now the format is going to change. So, it will be a live video bi weekly on first and third weekend of every month. Hopefully, I will be able to stick to that. And yeah, I guess that is it. On Instagram, my handle is Chhavi here. So, you can follow me there or you can follow me over here. Either ways is fine, and also just spread out the word in case anyone else wants to interact with me or ask me any questions or things like that. So that is it from my side. Good luck to all of you. See you soon. Bye.